There is an organization called America First Legal. It's founded by some Trump people, all right? Conservative legal nonprofit. It is now suing District Attorney Alvin Bragg, trying to get to the bottom of what the deuce is going on. Joining us now from Atlanta, Georgia, Gene Hamilton, America First Legal Executive Director. So have I laid this out accurately, first of all?
Absolutely, Bill, and thank you for having me on. You have painted the picture precisely as it is.
Why do you believe Color of Change, a New York City-based organization that took credit for the Trump prosecutions, why do you believe they were going to the White House?
Look, the White House is rewarding its political allies on the one hand by inviting them to different events, different meetings, get updates, let us know how things are going, and of course to take feedback from them. There's all kinds of other conversations that are probably happening behind the scenes. Now, look, you pointed out exactly what Color of Change put on their website, which is where they say that they take credit for getting Alvin Bragg in office. And of course, then they applaud when Alvin Bragg indicts the former president of the United States. It doesn't take too many logical inferences and steps in the mind of any American at home, any reasonable American, to try to connect these dots to say, hey, wait a second. They said that they worked to elect this guy. They're proud that he's in office. And then Alvin Bragg indicts him, something that the office previously refused to do. And then they're also visiting the White House. Now, mind you, of course, overriding all of this is the other connection of Matthew Colangelo, who was the number 3 DOJ attorney at the beginning of the Biden administration, then leaving the Department of Justice and going to work for Alvin Bragg. Everyone knows something stinks here, and so we're going to try to get to the bottom of it for the American people.
So how do you do that?
So we submitted a bunch of open records requests in New York to demand information that the public is entitled to under law. Of course, Alvin Bragg's office, as you would imagine, refused to comply. So we've now sued to enforce, to grab some of these records so that we can examine them and present them to the American people so that they can see them themselves. Things like emails with outside groups, things like emails about the investigation, things like calendar entries, all kinds of other things. You can paint a good picture here, and you can get at least some idea as to what's happening behind the scenes. Because if you take a step back, Bill, if we think about the United States in the year 2024, no one, if you had asked someone 40 years ago about this scenario, if you had painted it as a hypothetical about some liberal prosecutor running on indicting a former president of the United States and then executing on it, and then all the coordination that's happening with the current administration and all of these outside groups, you would shake your head. You'd say, this is outrageous. This isn't even worthy of a movie script. But here we are today, and no one else is making these connections. No one else is suing to get these records. No one else is doing this hard work. So we're going to do everything in our power to try to expose what's happening behind the scenes that everyone else sees the fruits of on the front pages.
Has any media covered this? Anybody called you?
Look, that none of the mainstream media seems to want to pay attention.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Shocking,
I haven't seen
right?
it anywhere myself. How could you get the reason that Rashad Randall went to the White House 16 times? Is it possible to get that, why he was invited there 16 times?
It's probably going to be a combination of some publicly accessible information through other sources. And then, some of this is just going to be a matter of using common sense and making logical inferences. Just like any jury, fair-minded jury can do at a trial, you are allowed to make logical inferences based on the facts that are presented to you. And when you have someone from an organization that goes to the White House 16 times, and we're not talking about 16 times to go on an East Wing tour and, check out the blue room or the red room or whatever
these
else.
are face-to-face
These are
with
16
the president,
appointments with like the president and the vice president.
And the vice president. So there's got to be a reason. But I'm trying to rack in my mind, if I'm a journalist, I can't get executive privilege is what Biden's going to shroud over you. I don't have to tell you anything, all right? And then I guess you could sue Color of Change, but you got to have a reason to do that. And just because they went to the White House doesn't give you a reason to sue them. So how are you going to find out what the cause and effect was? What were they talking about? Why was the guy going down there from New York to Washington? I don't know how you get through that wall.
Yeah, look, Bill, you bring up a very critical issue. It can be difficult sometimes to find that magic bullet, that golden nugget, that tiny piece of information that ties it all together, and that at least gives you something to go on so that you can go and ask the hard questions and you can go and do more investigations. And look, there's other investigative agencies, whether it's in states or elsewhere, that might have an interest in what's happening and what's taking place.
Not
but our
unless
job
Trump
is just
wins.
to do what we can.
Not here. Let me give you a suggestion. The congressional committees are the way to go here. So if you can present evidence to Comer or the other heads of the committees, all Republicans, and only for 7 more weeks, you only got 7, they could call Randall to Washington to testify about what the deuce he was doing there. That's the only way I can see where the public would then get an inkling that something's wrong, because something is wrong. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah, you're 100% right, Bill. Look, the congressional committees have unique power and authority to conduct oversight into areas just like this one. So they could absolutely do some further exploration,
so you
do some
call
document
Jordan
subpoenas,
tonight,
get some other things, call folks in.
Tell him O'Reilly told you to call Jordan, the oversight committee guy, and say, look, we got this. It got to get out there. And that would help the Republicans before the election. It would absolutely help them, would it not?
Well, look, I think it would help anyone if you get information.
No, but you got Harris. You got Harris meeting with the most radical group in the country. You got her 4 times. What was the meeting? That can affect the election.
Absolutely, Bill. You're 100% right.
All right, if you do that, will you let us know? We'll bring you back, and we'll see if we can't get this campaign up and running, because it has to be done. We, the people, need to know what this was. Is George Soros controlling the government now? And I don't think Trump even knows about this. I mean, maybe he does, but he should be concentrating on it. This is corrupt, and this corruption can be exposed. So you're doing good work, Mr. Hamilton. We can be of assistance. You let us know. Keep us posted. And go the committee route, because they can get it up and running fast. And this is a lot more important than Hunter Biden and all that. This is vitally important. We appreciate it. We'll talk soon, I hope. Thank you. Okay. And I'm usually not an advocate, as you guys know, but this is rotten. This Color of Change, this is rotten. This is true corruption. Okay? The other stuff is bad, not like this. And there's no logical reason that a grifter who heads up Color of Change should be at the White House 16 times. None. Furious.